What sign is Donald Trump really? If we run his birth data through my new True Signs report, this is what it tells us. So what you can see is that he has a pretty mixed chart. That means there's not a single very dominant sign. It's more of a mixture of signs. In that case, look at the patterns, or look for a pattern in the mixture. There's a clear pattern in Trump's mixture, and that pattern is that he's all fire and air signs, except for this weird Cancer water sign thrown right in the mix. The fire signs, of course, are three: Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. Of the three, which one really encapsulates Donald Trump's life and character the most? Obviously, they all do. That's why they're all high up in the mix. It's a little bit difficult to make a statement about which one is which, but my True Signs report has made a statement that it is really Sagittarius. And that is really pretty easy to agree with, because it's really Sagittarius which describes his dominant traits and the dominant things that he's done in life. Yes, Leo and Aries are very high up there in his life and character, as the report shows, but not the top. Why the top is really Sagittarius is because his real hallmark is this. Having these gigantic ambitions, having these impossible dreams and going after them. That's a very Sagittarian trait. And that is why he's reflected in this True Signs report as primarily a Sagittarian, but not very dominantly Sagittarian. It's really mixed in with these others. So it's mixed with the rest of the fire signs. And then you can tell that he's outstanding because he's got fire and air signs all up at the front of his mixture. So you know about fire and air. Everybody knows about fire and air. If you want to put a fire out, cut off the air. And if you want to make a fire, burn hotter, blow on it or fan it. It's because air supports fire. So the fact that he's got three fire signs up at the front of his mixture and three air signs up there too, it means that his fire equalities are able to really burn bright because they're being supported by air equalities. But like we said, he's got this weird monkey wrench in the machine. Everything else we've been looking at so far, creates kind of this very successful figure. But there's something about Trump which also gives you like kind of a bad taste or a worry, or something feels weird about him. And that is indicated by the fact that he's got this water sign kicked in there. Not only is it a water sign kicked into the fire-air mixture, but it's a water sign with poor dignity. So the True Signs report relies a lot on its ability to evaluate the positivity or negativity of a sign. So it's evaluated Trump's Cancer as being negative. So if it was a positive Cancer thrown in, let's say a very positive Cancer thrown in with this fire-air mixture, it wouldn't make such a weirdness. But it's not a very positive Cancer. It's a bit negative Cancer thrown in with this mix, and that makes it problematic. So look at what the report is saying about his Cancer, and you'll see that these are actually really the traits. It's identified the traits that do make him feel strange. First of all, it's this over-opinionation, a hyper-opinionation. It says here a negative Cancer is over-opinionated. It has harsh, inscrutable opinions. Inscrutable opinions means you can't really figure out why this person has this opinion. And when they change their opinion, you also can't really figure out why they changed their opinion. Like everything is hidden and encapsulated inside a shell. But there's these strong opinionations going on, but they're all like kind of hidden from your view. Like the mechanics of them or the reasoning for them is unknown. Also, this negative Cancer, the report says, is emotionally impenetrable and secretive. Emotionally impenetrable. He doesn't have normal emotional reactions to things. He has kind of inscrutable emotional reactions to things. Also, another trait of a negative Cancer, which the report is highlighting, is fear. So he may not seem like a very fearful person, and that's because we're looking at this Cancer in the context of all the fire and air, which is dominating. But what does Cancerian fear actually look like? It's not really panic, unless it's really extreme. Really, Cancer fear is just like a gnawing anxiety, a feeling of isolation or like helplessness, not having help, a feeling of compulsion to do things. Like you have to do stuff, otherwise it's going to go be bad. And so you could kind of sum it up as like a paranoia. Now you can see what this is talking about with Donald Trump. It's kind of like a classic McCarthyian paranoia about enemies and making enemies out of thin air and branding people as enemies intentionally, because you feel like if you don't, then maybe if they are the enemies, then they're really going to come and get you. So by the way, this True Signs Report's brand new and it's available now on my website. You can go and order one for your own birth data. So I encourage you to definitely go and do that, because this is a fantastic report. Now let's take a look at Trump's Sagittarius. Why did the report evaluate him as having a prominent Sagittarius? One of the key reasons is that his ascendant is in Sagittarius. No, it's not, you say, it's in Leo. Well, the report doesn't just consider the face value chart. The report considers all of the subdivisions of the zodiac signs. So because his Navamsha ascendant is in Sagittarius, therefore Sagittarius gets a boost. This is one of the things that's boosting the dominance of Sagittarius in his character. So his particular Sagittarius is mid-dignity. The report has evaluated its positivity as being pretty middle. So in him, you see a kind of blend of the positive and negative traits of Sagittarius, which is like a blend of growth and ambition versus excess and greed. Another thing that's making his Sagittarius quite dominant is his moon. And this moon of his in Sagittarius has a positive dignity. So it's aiding in his success. What does the report say about a positive moon in Sagittarius? It says you're smart. Is Trump smart? Well, let me read the rest for a second. Broad-minded and a lover of information, eager to acquire more knowledge and experience the world, broad, multidisciplined intellect, able to bridge various perspectives and experiences. Does this match Trump? I hate to tell you, but it does. It really does match Trump. And I've been saying this since he first started running for president the first term. The man is a genius. He's smarter than all the other politicians. You don't have to be a geek to be smart. You don't have to know Latin or Sanskrit to be smart. You don't have to be good at math to be smart. Smart really means you know how to accomplish your goals. And that is why the moon in Sagittarius makes a person very smart, because the moon is all about your desires and Sagittarius is about information. Does Trump know how to accomplish his goals? He sure does. Does he have this weird inscrutability because of the Cancer and you can't really figure out how his intellect is working? Yes. Does that make it even more deadly for his opponents? Yes. Is he a lover of information? Yeah, he loves media. Does he have a multidisciplined intellect? It's more like a multidisciplined hunger or a multidisciplined smarts. You know how to bridge real estate with this and that and politics with this and that. The report also says Moon Sagittarius is very ideal inspired. Is this guy dedicated to lofty ambitions? He is, in fact, from his perspective. From my perspective, no. He's, because I don't agree with his philosophies. But from his perspective, he's a very philosophical person. He's really dedicated to his ambitions and ideals. He's not petty. The report says if you have Moon in Sagittarius and a positive dignity, you'll be very appealing. Is Trump very appealing? Dude, of course he's appealing. He became the president of the United States. And look at the description of the appealing. You have broad appeal to many different people from many walks of life. Uplifting, your positivity and optimism draws people to you. Okay, Trump might not really be uplifting to us, but he sure as hell is uplifting and inspiring to them, to the radical conservatives. Is he positive and optimistic? He is in a weird way. And again, it doesn't sound right to our ears, people that don't like Trump. But he really is, like, he has a sense that he can do anything and it's possible to accomplish anything. Does he appeal to a broad range of people? This is really the thing. This is really where it's hitting Trump's main quality. He appeals to the basis, the basic, the most base qualities of human beings. Their fear of each other, that weird Cancer quality, that paranoia, their dislike and distrust of each other, he appeals to that, and he smartly and intelligently knows how to manipulate it to accomplish his goals. So you can see how this report really has revealed what Trump is all about. And I have really only just scratched the surface of it. We've covered probably about a total of 2 pages of the report, and there's usually about 80 pages in the report, depending on your chart. So not only do we have a better understanding of Trump, I think, we also have a great idea of how cool this report is now. So why don't you go and get one? You can go to my website, victicara.com, click into the readings section, and then you'll see it right there. It's called True Signs and Dignities. You just click the button to include it. If you want to get more reports and include them in a bundle, you can get discounts on those. And then you just click the enter your birth data button, enter that birth data, and go ahead and order it through PayPal. PayPal will let you use any kind of currency, credit cards, whatever. You don't have to have a PayPal account. So thank you very much. Stay tuned for more people being analyzed like this. Up next, I have Walt Disney and Jim Morrison prepared. So make sure you subscribe and like the video, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much.